Hello, good evening. It's Sunday night over here, 14th of December 2025. Hello, Ivona. How are things back east? Are you getting lots of snow and rain and cold? I can't tell if anyone's here anymore. We've got hello, necessary. I'm sorry it took me so long to get on tonight. I actually set up over an hour ago, but I had to rebuild everything because Google and YouTube decided to rebuild their whole live streaming platform, and they never told me. So I had to, it's like taking out an instruction manual, learning how to drive your car again. I mean, I know how to drive a car, but imagine you get into a car and all the buttons are different, the signals are different, the wipers are different, the transmission is different, the screen is different, all the dials are different, and you don't know what's what. Oh wow. So I'm trying to use a couple of monitors simultaneously so it looks like I'm looking all over the place in order to rebuild the YouTube streaming platform so I could actually go on it. I had to reformat the whole browser, which is very tedious. And in doing so, their whole new setup sort of visually looks sort of cool, but it's actually stupid. And everything, in order to fit it all in a way that's visual so I can actually operate everything, I had to miniaturize the whole. I had to. So now anything that looks like a button or an image or a box or a thing like on a dashboard, it's much smaller, and the font is like this because that's the only way I can fit their new stupid system on a screen. I can't be the only one with this problem because I have a really good setup here given what it is. Yeah, I saw your notes necessary. Well, I'm going to give you my thoughts anyway because I was going to do that anyway. I'm not really in a fit state for doing readings, frankly. So I'm very hesitant to do any readings tonight. But I just wanted to hang out a little bit. It's been a very disturbing day. I've been very disturbed by the disturbing day. I'm still very disturbed. And for better or worse. And I have a reason to be disturbed. Just like everyone else who's disturbed. Cheapers, man, you have to have binoculars to do this. Anyway, I don't. A lot of the information is missing. When I see the transmission here, there's a lot of information that I used to be able to see that I can't see anymore. I don't know half of what's going on. It's very hard to see what's going on. And I don't know what to do. I can't. I'm trying to look around, see where everything is being moved. It's very weird. I'm lucky to even get it, even to get the stream live and active at all, because you couldn't see any of the controls and the buttons of the settings without moving two things simultaneously. Anyway. I just want to sort of backtrack a little bit, if you don't mind. Okay, so we have audio. We have sound. It looks like the sound is good. So let's leave it. Let's just be grateful. All right, I'm going to do a kind of a very ultra simplified astrodoodle. If you don't mind, so bear with me. Yeah, I haven't had to shovel snow for quite a few years, but I'm well used to shoveling snow. especially when it comes up to your door and to the height of your door and covers your kitchen window. That's pretty steep. It's also funny when you go outside and you can't see your car. All you see is a big white fluffy bump where the car is sitting. Let me see if I can do this. I don't want to get too involved. Today is the 14th, but I'm going to extend it all the way. So at the moment, sorry, give me a second. I was talking about this early last week. We have to prepare ourselves for this really, really freaking ugly stellium up here, where we got Sun, what is it, Venus, what is it, Mercury or something, and then Mars is over in Capricorn now, and then the moon's over. The moon is here. Okay, so that's going to be, we're not there yet. I'm just illustrating. Whether it's Sagittarius or Capricorn at this point, it's kind of irrelevant. Whether it's Scorpio or Sagittarius back then, last week, it's a little bit irrelevant because the main stellium has been up here in Sagittarius. So over here, of course, we have Neptune and Saturn. I better put the symbols up here. We got Mars in Capricorn, then we've got Sun, Moon, Venus, and where's I gotta find out where Mercury is. Give me a second. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. 9 degrees Sagittarius. Yeah, there's Mercury. I got that. And there's Mercury. Okay. So effectively, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets all really squashed up together. And I'm going to make it very, very simple. It's really ugly. What I see, what I was worried about 10 days ago when I saw this coming up, I was worried about hyperviolence. See, with the Sagittarius vibe here, it's got this very big religious superiority overtone. Put that connected with Mars right next to it, because Mars has been in Sagittarius for most of that period. Mars is in Sagittarius right now, but it's heading over the cusp. Like right now, it's at the crisis degrees. So you have Mars in a state of crisis, all right? That's where we are right now, 20.5 degrees overnight. And so what is happening? Imagine that you are a person and you're extremely outraged, frightened for whatever reason, because somebody you don't like is scaring you. And so you decided, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go hyper-violent. I'm going to give myself the right to do that before they go hyper-violent on me. And it's an act of desperation. Multiply that up with the amplification of the sun. Add in there Venus highly conflicted with Saturn. Relationships really screwed up. Communications very, very screwed up. Mercury in hard square. And you've got a horrible, horrible mess. Basically, a bunch of hateful, violent people spewing hateful, violent communications at each other. And they're all feeling perfectly justified, of course, because they have religious justification. I am right. My religion is better than your religion. My God is better than your God. Your God is useless. My God is the God of all gods. If you don't comply and bow down to my God, I give myself permission to kill you and denounce your God. It's that kind of talk. Okay? And where does that lead you? Hyperviolence. It's been building up, and of course today was pretty spectacular, and yesterday we had the mass casualty event. Mass casualty event, and then of course today we had the Bondi Beach, Australia mass casualty event. A lot of the stuff we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it's one religious group that it has a name spelt like this. I'm just going to condense it into this. Okay, and then over here, what do you want to call it? No, let's scrap that. I don't know what to call it. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to write those notes over here. It's been going on for thousands of years, since the Crusades and earlier. And it's still going on today. It's absolutely stupid, but that's the world we live in. And we have a chance to evolve and grow and adapt if we want to. There's some tremendous support with all those beautiful green signs that I keep showing you. For example, oh my gosh, all my notes from the other day. See all that green, beautiful stuff? That's there to support us as we try and navigate through that very terrifying red ink. It's very much in a balance of power right now. If you notice, I put the terms war, 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 and war. And that was on the 12th. That's just a few days ago. And we were predicting this already. This was the harshness building up, and now it has exploded out of an act of desperation. So that's where we are right now. And this is going to continue all week. It's going to continue all the way up to the Sagittarius new moon. So, Necessary Truth, you were asking about a little bit of commentary on the Sagittarius new moon. What I'm sensing is that the Sagittarius new moon will be new starts and new beginnings to take the subject matter that we're talking about today to a next level of maybe even more hyperviolence and turning it into an enterprise. And then all the stuff that goes with it. Some of the hyperviolence that happened was also in this area here. Okay, so these folks over here are very, very unstable. Right over there, if you can see it. Right there. These folks are hyper unstable. Okay? All the folks. Okay, so the other cultures, this culture, they're all over the world. These folks are all over the world. And they are exploding in hyperviolence against each other. And it's just a question of almost like random locations wherever it, freaks out. The big one from last night just happened over here in the beautiful little place of Rhode Island. It's absolutely gorgeous over there, but it's a super ultra hardcore radical fake compassion lefty type community. So I don't know, maybe it was perfect battleground. The other nasty thing that just happened is way up here, like Bondi Beach, way up north. I don't know if you can see it there. Come on, little camera. It's right up here. And the other nasty skirmish was right over here. So all of that at the same time. Anyway, for whatever reason, this stuff is really stressing me out. I'm feeling it for whatever reason. I just don't like it. I think it's very ugly. And I don't like it seeing happening right in our backyard over here. I don't like it at all. And people have been warning about this for a long time. And now it's spreading out like a massive outbreak of hives all over the world. Everywhere. It's built into their operating code. These folks have an operating code which is basically sitting there like a time bomb, waiting for instructions from their leaders. Now is the time to act. And they're giving instructions to their teams all over the world, especially where they want maximum destruction, like here and here, here, wherever they can. There's some ultra, if you talk about all the violence I've just been talking about right now, it's 10 times worse over here. Oh God, come on little camera. Okay, and you've also heard of this place, okay, regarding a lady in Washington, D.C. who is a politician who wears a funny hat. It's a nice hat as far as she's concerned, but she's in the spotlight right now for a lot of scandal and corruption and marrying her brother and having a child or something really bizarre. So anyway, I don't see this shift changing anytime soon, because on the 19th, it's going to be very similar to this, but more and more clustered up here as we get to the degrees of desperation. This is going to be sitting here. This is basically sitting here. So as this moves through, Mars is going to slide through Capricorn. Moon is going to be all the way over here. Well, on the new moon, the moon will be here. So this is not going away. It's just going to change in tone. The Venus part, the sun part, the moon part, the Mercury part. It'll give different nuances on how the hyperviolence is being expressed. Is it verbal? Is it physical? Is it on a mass scale? Is it one-on-one? Is it somebody who comes up and says, I love you, and then they stab you in the back? We don't know. And so that's the Sagittarius vibe over there. Wonderful vibe on its own if you just look at it that way, but it's in a very, very hard square with the sad, tragic Pisces vibes going on over here. Again, none of this is a surprise, because the evil on our planet is being exposed big time. And when it has nowhere else to go with its energy, it lashes out with hyper-violence, and that's what we're seeing. And so it's a new moon, so the Sagittarius sun's going to be right over there, and 2 weeks later we're going to have a full moon over here, but it's a completely different vibe. And that will be, let me think, that's already going to be in next year. So there's no point until, I don't want to talk about that right now. But we're going to have a Capricorn Cancer axis here in 2 weeks. So the full moon, in case, because you were asking necessary, let's just call that one the moon over there. So this thing is going to be with us all week and up to the new moon and beyond. It's just going to morph and change as the planets, whiz through all of this area. And then that energy is basically like a seed, a message for what we're going to see to start morphing all over on the world stage. And what I am sensing is that the radical hyperviolence from this crowd over here is going to amplify, and it's going to enrage these folks over here, and also our own leaders over here. We've already heard from our leaders that they're going to do severe retaliation on these nasty folks over here. It's too early to tell what's going to happen with the other nasty folks and the other incidents as of today and as of yesterday, because that has just amplified the problem in Syria by many times over. And I don't think Trump really has a plan at this point. I think he's trying to figure out what the hell are we going to do, because the whole freaking planet is now sitting on a powder keg. Anyway, so bear in mind what I just said. I'm not looking for anything fun or beautiful or too magical with the Sagittarius new moon. There are going to be some wonderful things about it. Maybe we'll get some new revelations about things that we never knew before that existed regarding huge events on the big scale, like massive historical revelations that go back thousands of years. So we have a better understanding of where we are today. That's the subject matter in which I am going to be exploring, tapping into my own little Sagittarius segment in my own chart. Because I want to stay happy. I want to be happy. I don't want to be consumed by all this evil. There's another thing that has been bugging me for a long time, and I was kind of shocked when I saw a video about it today, so I'm just going to outline this as well. Okay, I'm just going to draw my pen around certain areas, okay? There's the Mediterranean. You can see that, all right? Northern Africa. Southern Sahara region. Over there to the Middle East. Over here up to here, all the way up to Mongolia and Western China and the Uyghur farms and prison camps. All the way up here into all the Ishtans, the Kazakhstans, the Uzbekistans, and all the Kyrgyzstans, and all the way through here in Turkey and beyond. All of that area. That area that I'm just delineating here is vast majority is populated by these folks. Okay? And they have their religion that goes with it. And they've been very powerful and operating for a very long time. And they have a history of violence and hyperviolence with people that they don't like, and vice versa. People who don't like them eventually turn to hyperviolence to protect themselves, and so on and so on. So it just turns into perpetual war. But there's something else going on that is actually much more serious, much deeper down, much longer term problem, and it affects the rest of the world. Okay, I'm going to do the loop again here. All of this is occupied by these folks. That's their turf, that's their territory. The other thing about it is that there's no more water. They're running out of water across the whole space. All throughout the Sahara. The Sahara is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to flip, but for now it's getting bigger. We're going through what climate change also, with radical astronomical population boom in this area over the last few hundred years. There's radical increase in pressure on the land to try and get food. So in this area here, they've, with 20th century, 21st century technology, they managed to grow some crops over here and here and here, and they have to import a lot of stuff. They're very wealthy in the last 100 or 80 years or so because of oil and gas, so they can import a lot of stuff, but they're not able to sustain themselves as an entity in the way that we can do over here. We have everything, okay? They don't. One of the key things that they don't have is water. It's depleting very, very fast. Whatever aquifers they had in here over the last few thousand years and centuries, they're all gone. Most of them are already gone. These are the driest places on earth, and it's getting worse. So what happens? Desperation. Religious desperation, population desperation. Is it a coincidence that the folks from here are spreading out all over the world and try to take over the world by using hyperviolence, claiming that they have an obligation to their religion and their God, their leader, to do so? And wherever they go, there seems to be a lot of problems. I mean, look at what's happening in Nigeria. It's absolutely, the slaughter over here and here is just freaking mind-boggling, okay? It's very, very disturbing. So what do you do? Okay, we've locked up our borders, but we still have a lot of these rioters in here, okay? Very unfriendly people who want death to this place, death to the people who live here, and death to certain cultures that live here. They've proclaimed it very loudly. That's what their plan is, and they're working on it. Same over here. And why are they going for these areas? Why are they going for here, 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 here? They're even going over here. Why are they doing that? It's because we have all the stuff. We have water. A lot of water. They can't import that water from there to here, so they're going to go from there to there. Okay? So what does that look like? It makes me feel like however bad it is right now with all this insane migration stuff, it's going to get a lot worse. No matter how much we clamp down and say enough is enough. Because when your life is at risk because you don't have any water, guess what you're going to do? You're going to turn to hyperviolence, or the other alternative is that you just wither away and die. Look what's happening in Gaza. Anyway. So, I'm sorry, this stuff has been filling me up all day, and it makes you sick. A lot of it is because people seem to feel that they have the right to just explode their population because they can. So they do. They don't think of the consequence. Anyway. So this thing here is with us now. It's been building up for about a week. It's going to get worse, and then it's going to have a spillover effect for the next week or two as the Sagittarius new moon starts to lift itself around the 20th. So all during the festive season, please don't be surprised if you see a lot of very ugly stuff happening. Sometimes these joyful seasons are the perfect opportunity to commit hyperviolence for the maximum shock and terror. I wish I could talk about this stuff more openly, but I can't, so I feel I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. It's really sad. Let's see if I can... Oh, what's happening now? Okay. Oh, okay. Now that Neptune has gone direct, Saturn is direct, there's nothing holding them back from full expression, for better or worse. Okay? How is this going to affect you personally? Well, the only way you can tell really is that when you get a personal reading. If you look at that, it says global astrology, which is what I love to do. But I also do personal astrology and tarot readings in case anyone's interested. Go to TarotLumination.com and you'll find a little button and you can go from there. Anyway. Oh, so I'm going to check the chat, see if I can actually read it. The letters are so tiny. Okay. Abhi Krishna. Hello, Abhi Krishna. Hello, hello, Lily Sag Girl. Oh, well, you're kind of in your element right now. I hope you're having fun Sagittarius vibes. I hope you get something good out of the Sagittarius new moon. Oh, thank you, Necessary. I'm glad you got something out of my little notes tonight for the Sagittarius moon. Anyway, I want to apologize for, I think it was last night, with the mess up on my other show, on my other platform, because I couldn't get the sound working. Well, that was my own fault. I really, really screwed up. Every week I have to basically rebuild and reset everything on the settings for the studio to broadcast either from YouTube or the other platform. If I have everything set up for the other platform, there's a way that I can stream it to lots of other platforms. But I don't want to do that because some of those other platforms will shadow ban me. And so I basically shut everything down and then rebuild it every week. Every week, shut it down and rebuild it. So after this show tonight, I have to shut it all down and rebuild it for next week. Next week, I'll be on my other platform talking about the global astrology with a lot more comfort because there's much less chance that I will be censored and shut down. So, anyway, I've been doing some studies and I'm hoping I can present them in a way that's much more coherent and comprehensive than what I tried to do last night. First of all, if I do it properly next week sometime, there will be audio. You'll be able to hear my descriptions. And I'll also be able to use my now ready-made charts that I didn't have the other night, because I was basically doing a lot of my homework live. I should have done it all in private before I even dared to show any of it live, because I'm really, really pushing the limits of my own capabilities with astrology, but I can't help myself under this Sagittarius vibe. I can't help it. I'm feeling very powerful, like urge for adventure and to want to know more. Well, I want to know bigger. I want to know what's going on way out there in our solar system, not just what's happening, on the front page of X or YouTube or Fox News or PBS News or something like that. I'm very interested in seeing what's been going on with our species over long periods of time. And there are some striking patterns which I'm hoping I can explain next week. Really, I should spend a week. I used to have a library and I could study a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to have to put everything together in a very, let's say, how am I going to do this? I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure out a way to make a fairly decent presentation so that you'll understand some of the perspectives that I use to come up with the comments that I have. Sometimes I'm having conversations with my friend Love Triber, and sometimes Necessary Truth too, and a few others. And sometimes I get very smug, and I look at my friend and kind of go, "Yeah, I told you so." And my friend nods back and goes, "Yep, that's what you said." I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just, reading the stars. All right, I just want to check something here. I'm going to do a technical thing right now, so please bear with me while I try to survey the... Oh God, what have I done? Okay, let's have a look. All right, okay, all right. Good enough. Give me a second, folks. Yeah, the redo is going to be fun. It's going to be quite an adventure. I'll be dealing with the movements. How I focus a lot on the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because from my personal perspective, that's my main interest. It's been that way for a long time, but the reality is most people's lives unfold around the movements and energy fields of the personal planets. In other words, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and that's it. Once you get past Mars, everything gets a lot more spacey and cerebral, and you get involved with the soul, and you get a deep sense of time and karma and perhaps future lives and past lives and things like, yeah, karma, physics, like, oh my God, that thing that I did when I was 14, I wish I'd never done it now. And then you get the famous one, the Saturn return, and so on. But that's as far as most astrology goes. In fact, that's how most astrology operated for thousands of years, because that's really all they had. Everything else, in other words, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, those were just like mythological energies, like gods or feelings, or like a deep soul awareness that had actually no correlation in outer space, because back in those days they couldn't see it. They could not see Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. But now, of course, we can see them. And so the correlations are stunningly precise. And that's where I kind of get all excited. Yeah. Okay, I've got a confession to make. I'm thinking of getting some help. I don't know what it's going to be like. I've had a lot of people approach me over the years, and a lot of people have approached me when I started on my new Rumble platform. But each time I tell them, listen, I just have a certain way of working, and it's very solitary, and I like to be my own boss, running my own time, my own schedule. And I have not yet met a person or a company or a service that's willing to do the amount of work that I do for the kind of compensation that I get. And so they kind of go, oh, well, whenever you're ready, give us a call and we'll be there for you. Fine. And I know what they do. They plug into all these SEO optimization programs, and they link it up to their social media expander programs, and so on and so on. And they really can work. If you have a really good channel manager, producer, editor type person, they can help. But usually it costs money, and you usually have to have a really successful channel in the first place to be able to afford that kind of support. But one group has been quite persistent, and there's been no mention of money so far. And so I'm thinking of giving it a shot. What they do is they have a platform themselves, which is like online shopping, and they have a collection of tarot readers and spiritualists and psychics and all that stuff. I'd never seen them before because I never looked for these things. But anyway, it looked fairly respectable. I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. And they seem to be quite friendly, and the idea would be that I would just do what I'm doing here right now, but they would integrate what we're doing here into their system and spread that all over the place. And then once revenue starts coming in, then they can get a percentage or a fee, whatever it is that comes out of it. So it's a different business model to anything that I've seen before. So I'm kind of tempted. I don't know what it'll look like out there in the universe, but it might be interesting. It might be fun, because one of the things that, to tell you the truth, the happiest time I ever had on my channel was just pretty much moments before it was destroyed. And I was in New Zealand having fun. I was earning my living off doing this. I had a lot of videos. I was doing astrology readings for all 12 signs every month, plus live reading. So it was about 40 videos per month, and that was enough to generate revenue to build a tiny little channel, enough for someone like myself with a very, very, very modest lifestyle to earn what I considered a living. Most people wouldn't consider it a living, but for me it was, because I'm very efficient. Anyway, it would be fun to have that kind of revenue, because one of the things that I enjoyed the most was when I could produce content, just put it out there, and simply because it was so awesome and the algorithm was working properly, there would be thousands and thousands of views per video, per week, per month, enough to generate the revenue. And I never really had to go around looking for things like members and membership this and Patreon that and donations and just super chats or anything, because I didn't care. I just wanted to be able to broadcast and then go home. And then it all blew up. But I have to tell you, it's a lovely feeling to have a successful YouTube channel. I would love to have that again. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm going to find out. Maybe if I take a long-term approach with these new people and it actually works and they can spread the content much farther and it generates revenue, then that gives me a momentum to want to continue. And then I could do more content on YouTube, for example. Also on Rumble, because they could do the same thing with Rumble. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm not going to do any readings tonight, okay? I'm just going to wrap it up here. I'm a bit frazzled. And yeah, I don't have any bookings. Hello, winner. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for all the donations over the years, and all of that good stuff, and hanging in with me all these years. I really appreciate it. We'll see what happens next week. I'm going to try and put together a presentation. I'm going to try to do it live, because to me it feels much more effective. But it might be pretty messy. I'm just warning you in advance. Okay, so take care. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. All right? Take care. Sorry I'm not doing any readings tonight. I didn't get any bookings, didn't get any advance bookings, and we'll take